let's talk about liquidation.com for a little bit here. Now, it's a company that I'm not really sure how they're in business still. They've been losing money for 5 years straight, and pretty much everything they sell is complete garbage. They don't actually sell anything, but they have, you know, sellers. It's an auction site, kind of like eBay, so they have sellers post their auctions, and then people come in and buy them or bid on them. Now, here I'm sorting through their consumer electronics for the new items. Now, my challenge to you is go look any of these items, one of these cell phones or, this Bluetooth speaker, this camera, the watch, and go on Wish. You will find the exact same one. Then go on eBay and you can find that exact same one. Compare all the prices. You'll see that the ones on eBay coming from America probably bought them from here. And they're actually undercutting Wish because what some of these companies like SL Tech, Amon Fashion, and the third one is Izzy Sales. They get a bunch of this cheap Chinese stuff imported, and then they sell it in bulk on here. But look, a lot of it's very, very deceptive. Now, the whole business model of liquidation.com and specifically these kind of sellers is that of a snake oil salesman going town to town. By the time somebody realizes they got ripped off, it's too late for them to get their money back, because liquidation.com has a very strict terms and conditions that only gives you 2 days to file a dispute if say it's mislabeled or whatever. But most of the time all sales are final, and it's very hard to get around the dispute process with liquidation.com. But there are other ways to get your money back up to 6 months later. We'll talk about that later maybe, because what I want to focus on now is the products that are being sold on liquidation.com, because it's all garbage. Firstly, I'm going to start out, we're going to look at this. 20 new handheld classic gamepads, 400 built-in games. So you see from the manifest here, 20 of them, gamepad. That's all the description you get. There's no brand or anything shown, not even a box really shown for any of this. So we can come to the conclusion that it's cheap Chinese garbage again. Now, don't let it's a sealed bid on this one, so we can't even see how much is being bid. But I'm assuming there's 0 bidders because there's 0 watchers too, and no one really bids on most of this stuff. Most of this kind of garbage, one person bids on, probably realizes later that they got tricked. Now, this one in particular I wanted to point out because it has 400 built-in games such as Donkey Kong, Galaga, Pac-Man, etc. Country of manufacture, United States. No, it was not made in the United States. There's no way. You're telling me this was made in the United States? Yeah, that battery does not meet standards of what should be on a battery in the United States. I'm assuming most of this book is in Chinese. There's no way. There's so much deceptive advertising on every single auction. Every single one has some kind of lie built into it. Now, the thing I'm really focused on this one in particular is the built-in games. Now, that's illegal in the United States. I'm assuming they don't have a license to put games like Galaga and Pac-Man and Donkey Kong onto this console. So, where it can get buying something like this off Wish, they can kind of skirt by the rules because the Chinese manufacturers don't have to obey, American copyright laws, or they're much better at getting around it because China and copyright laws. Good luck. Let's move on to the next one though. We're going to look at these series of cell phones. Now, look at this. Let's look at the title first. New S10 Plus smartphone quad-core MTK 60 580 5.8-inch screen unlocked. $500. Opening bid. No bidders. No bids. This is one watcher. This ends in 5 hours too, by the way. So no one's bid on this. And I wouldn't expect it to sell either. But if we look here, we see there is a total lot quantity of 10. And in this one, we got all 10 of them are the S10 smartphone. But when we scroll down here, notice new S10 Plus cell phone. So to cut it, short, the MTK6580 is the processor in this phone. This phone's more equivalent to a Samsung S3, but they use the S10 Plus to give you the idea of iPhone or Samsung Galaxy. And especially using a super deceptive picture like this where the screen goes edge to edge seamlessly, that has the quality of a high quality OLED screen. Now I guarantee you these are not OLED screens, because when we get to this picture we can see, look, there's a border. These are very cheap LCD screens with a 1.2 quad core gigahertz processor in it. This is pretty much the equivalent of an S3. And again, it's the same story here. Five new and unlocked 6.7 inch Goo phone smartphone, Android 6.1 quad core. They just throw in the buzzwords because all it is about deceiving somebody long enough that they push that bid button. I'm assuming too these again aren't real pictures. I'm not gonna go. I haven't looked this one up in particular. The one I did look up in particular that I like focusing on here is this one. So again, corner to corner OLED. It looks really good. Now we go to the next picture. This is the phone you actually get. Now it says MTK6580 in the picture here, but the listing and the title says MTK6572, which is two very different processors. Not that it really matters all that much. They're both one's a duo core 1.2 gigahertz processor. The other one's a quad core 1.2 gigahertz processor. They're both very slow, and they're going to perform nothing like even a Samsung S7. You're looking, in the S2 to S4 range of what these cell phones are going to be. And to prove that, let's look at the band. It has a 2 gigahertz or a 2G band and a 3G band. You can't even use your 4G data on this phone, much less the 5G that's rolling out everywhere right now. So it has a dual SIM card, unlocked service provider, 4 gigabytes of ROM. Interesting. Half a gigabyte of RAM. So I don't even know if this is updatable, but it's running Android 5, which came out in 2013, 2014, I believe. With 4 gigabytes of ROM. That's read-only memory. I don't think you'll be able to actually update the OS on this. It's very questionable, since we also don't see how much storage is actually on the phone. And then, the next part is, if we look here, Wi-Fi. So it has an 802.11 BGN. So it may or may not accept the 5 gigahertz on your dual band router. You might actually be stuck using the 2.4 gigahertz, from the early 2010s or so. Basically, we're looking at a phone that's about 10 years old, trying to play off as a Samsung S10. And if you need more proof that they're intentionally trying to be deceptive with this listing, let's look at Amazon. Here is for a legitimate Samsung Galaxy S10. Now look at that picture and then look at this one. I mean, they stole the Galaxy S10 Samsung picture off Amazon, or maybe even some other website. Maybe it's on Samsung's website on their own, and then erased all the the Samsung Galaxy. They just erased this part off, and hey, look, this is the S10 you're getting. So they're just hoping that somebody sees this, thinks they're getting a Samsung S10 for $100, hits bid, and then 20 minutes later, when they realize that they got had, liquidation.com isn't going to let them remove their bid. And if we look at the manifest, you get one of these phones for $100 and 115 of these cheap ass earbuds. These ones that Yeah, they're using the Apple earbuds in these pictures. I'm not sure which ones you would actually get, but I'm assuming they're dirt cheap and sound like garbage. Um, Now the next thing you kind of want to look at is the auction or the buyer's premium and the sales tax and the minimum shipping cost of $40. So when all is said and done, when somebody gets had and bids $100 on one of these auctions, they're paying over $150 after taxes and fees for this cell phone. Now, here is the phone. I found the exact one on eBay. See, they use the pretty much the same picture here. It's got the fake back. You see like the triple camera with the little flash thing. I've heard the cameras are actually all fake, except for one. The other two just look there are just decoration to make it look like a real Samsung S10. I mean, the big giveaway is how shitty the screen looks on the front. And he's selling it for $56. Apparently, somehow he sold one of them. I can't believe that. I mean, the phone's worth about $20, if that. It's really just complete garbage. This stuff is just intentionally being misleading. And then liquidation, says you're in a legally binding contract to buy something when you place the bid. So if you place the bid on one of these things and then realize 20 minutes later that, oh, I didn't look at this other picture, why is it so different than the first one? Or even these ones, these are a little less misleading, but still are, like the corner to corner OLED look. So there's a lot of Sony sellers too. Here, this one, the seller is literally named Sony. And if we look at they've done 10,000 plus auctions in basically 7 years, 1,000 plus in the last 90 days. So they do a lot of sales on here. Now, I don't know if this is actually Sony, because anybody that has Amazon on this website isn't actually affiliated with Amazon, but they are a verified reseller that buys returns from Amazon and is only selling products that they sourced from Amazon on the site. Amazon has no formal contract with liquidation.com as far as I know. I think bstock.com is where Amazon does their direct liquidations to the consumers or direct to the businesses, whoever's buying. The people selling on liquidation.com are the ones that bought that off bstock, cherry picked all the good stuff off, and then relisted it on liquidation.com. The reason I bring that up is we can look at the manifest on this one. This says A grade. So these are A grade means it's fit for retail. You could go to Best Buy and these would look like the ones you would get at Best Buy or brand new off Amazon, whatever. It means basically like brand new. So they're refurbished and they're A grade. And we see the MSRP we got 10 of these ones, 9 of these ones, 10. Right here. That the MSRP is $249.99. Now, when we go to the Sony website, and we got the exact same model, it's $199.99. Reseller prices may vary. So, I'm assuming when the item came out, the MSRP was $249.99, but it's only $199.99 now. I mean, unless this isn't the manufacturer's suggested retail price that's on the manufacturer's website. I mean, I don't know. Everything about this website is just deceptive and sleazy and slimy. Look, we got just a way overvaluation on this manifest here. It's kind of ridiculous. Next up, we're going to look at another lot of phones here. Now, these are real Samsung Galaxy S9s. Fully functional, MSRP $21,600. So they're valuing these at $720 a piece, MSRP. You know, maybe if this was 2017 and these phones were, you know, coming out right now, we could go off that listing price. But right now, the manufacturer suggested retail prices, I don't know, not high. They don't even make this phone anymore because there's two or three models newer than it out. And if we go down here and we read the description, this lot contains 30 units of the Samsung S9 smartphone. Mixed major US carriers, clean IMEI, so they're saying they're not stolen and they're not carrier unlocked. Some are, some aren't. Some are locked to whatever carrier. Anyway, the important part of the listing is all devices in this lot have cracked or chipped front glass. Well, the glass is cracked. The units have non-broken LCDs with no LCD shadow or light LCD shadow. The cosmetics otherwise vary through light, medium, and heavy wear. Some units may also have cracked backs. Devices are bulk packed without accessories, tested for key functionality, ready to resale. So they start the bid at $3,850 for 30 broken Samsung Galaxy S9 phones. Now, it's clever that they listed as used. Used assets were previously sold. I mean, I think we all know what used is. And they're really skirting the line between used and salvage here with cracked front glass. Who's going to buy a cell phone with the front glass broken? You know, and they even show this. Look at there. Here's 5 of them. None of them look broken to me, but they're telling me that every single one in this lot is broken. And if you didn't scroll down and you missed this one line right here, you might think you're getting 30 phones that, you know, are in a lightly used condition. But the kind of ridiculous thing I think is $3,850. Oh my god! So that's, you know, over $100 per phone. Now I have the math here. If we take our $3,850 times 1.15, so that'll be 8% on the buyer's premium and 7% on sales tax, just kind of ballpark in there. Bring us up to $44.27, and minimum shipping price of $40.25 brings us up to $44.67. And divide that by 30 gives us a round price of about $150 per phone. This guy wants $150 per phone. Now let's look at sold eBay listings. So we have a Galaxy S9 here, poor condition, works. It's unlocked with Sprint, $24.50. TNT, $30, $50. So, I mean, these cracked $30 to $50 each on the low end, and you're gonna get the low end on every single one of these because they all have broken front glass. So yeah, I mean, to me that just says we're not here to operate legitimate business. It says I'm here to try to ring somebody because I want them to think they're getting good ones that they can sell for, you know, $200 each, when really they're getting broken garbage that is going to be less than $50. And, you know, like, again, this is every single auction. It's cheap Chinese garbage that you can find on Wish. I mean, we could go there, we could find this camera, we could find it on eBay, and you're going to see the prices are similar. And if you do the math between, you know, how much these auctions are going for with the premiums and the overpriced shipping, most of the people selling these cheap Wish, you know, digital cameras and cell phones and whatever on eBay aren't making any money. They're actually losing money on every sale. They're just trying to recoup because they got suckered. Like, if you buy anything on this website, you're getting suckered no matter what. Like, I haven't found anything worthwhile buying on here. I don't know if you possibly could. Like, I bought a box of hats and they all smell like fish bait, and they were supposed to be what do they call, shelf pull, which apparently shelf pull means, I don't know, like, It's supposed to be they were for sale in a retail environment, and they were taken off the shelf due to either overstock or seasons changing, whatever. But they come in weird packaging and they smell weird, and some of them look like they got ran over by maybe a forklift or something, maybe a shopping cart. I don't know. They had greasy tire marks running over them, and yeah, that's what it is. Liquidation.com. If you're buying there, I would stop. If Here's the big thing: if you did buy there and you want to make a return and they won't honor your dispute, I would recommend going through PayPal or your bank. They will most likely side with you, especially if you can show them, hey, this is the cell phone that showed in the picture. It shows a real Galaxy S10, and that's not what I received. You'll most likely win the dispute through PayPal or your bank. The only thing I'll tell you though is you will get permanently banned within a week of opening a dispute. But if you have no, plans of ever buying anything from them anyway, I say it's worth getting banned and, file your dispute with your bank. File your dispute with PayPal. PayPal actually will let you file a dispute within 180 days of delivery. So you have 6 months after buying some of this garbage to try to file a dispute. And again, PayPal will probably side with you, especially if it's this level of fraud, where they're selling used phones and it's 30 broken phones. Like there's 10 different what do you call it? What do they call conditions? There's like 5 or 6. There's new, refurbished, used, salvage, scrap, returns, and shelf pulls. And the line between salvage, used, and shelf pull and returns are non-existent. There's a lot of overlap there. So if you ever see anything with any of those names, just know that it's pretty much all salvage. And if you see something with salvage on it, it's all trash. Salvage actually means trash. Everything's just going to get thrown away. And then used, shelf pull, returns all mean salvage goods. You'll not be able to make any money off of them. You won't want to sell them or use them yourself without being repaired or refurbished. And then anything that's sold as new is stuff like this. It's the cheap Chinese garbage that is probably packed in with 115 cheap headphones, or I saw another one was packed with 110 male-to-male 3.5-inch audio cables. Yeah, so that is my look at merchandise available on liquidation.com. And remember, if you bought something from them, you can still file a dispute. Don't take them telling you no, and don't take their weird dispute process for their word for it. Ask PayPal. PayPal will get involved. PayPal will help you. PayPal always looks out for the buyer. And if you're an eBay seller, you know how frustrating it can be, because they'll almost always side with the buyer regardless of anything.